Hi everybody, and welcome to another Linfield Coaches CatChat. Joe Stewart out here with head Linfield men's soccer coach Andy Duvall. Andy, how you doing today?
Excellent, thanks Joe.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. How can you not be doing excellent?
Yeah,
but a little bit of mixed results over the weekend for you. 2 at home over homecoming. You fall on Saturday to the perennial Northwest Conference powerhouse PLU 6-0. But then a good response on Sunday against another really tough team in Puget Sound, drawing 1-1. And we'll get into that. We'll focus on the Puget Sound game, but just quickly, PLU, what kind of went wrong there? You guys started out just trailing 1-0 at halftime, and then what happened in the second half that led to things getting out of hand?
Yeah, so the conversation after the game was making sure that you stick to assignments and do the job that you've been trained to do, and the guys were the first to admit that they didn't get that done in the second 45 minutes. And they were extremely disappointed in themselves. I mean, PLU, the advantage that they have over us right now is size and experience. They're a bigger team physically, but when you have experienced players, you know how to deal with that. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of our inexperienced guys did well enough over the first 45 minutes to deal with their individual assignments, and then just dropped off in the second 45 minutes. And they were really upset at themselves for not working it all the way through the 90-minute game. But that's been the story for us for probably 3 or 4 of the matches that we've played this year, is not completing a 90-minute match. You know, we have been competitive through each game that we've played, up through 45, 50, 60 minutes in a lot of games, and then there's a drop-off. And that drop-off happened around the 50th minute, 55th minute or so against PLU, and the guys couldn't recover from it. And PLU, with their experience and their size, took advantage of us and punished us for it. And so the experience that we gained from that, of course, we will look to try and correct when we play PLU at their place. But all credit to PLU. I mean, they took advantage of a smaller, less experienced team on Saturday and punished us for being that. Yeah. So we have to take it on the chin and work forward. Well,
and that's what you do when you're the champs and number 14 team in the country.
Right.
But then Puget Sound, as I mentioned, they've been right there with PLU for years and years, and it seemed like a great response. So what was cleaned up in that match in the 1-1 draw? Was it mostly the understanding assignments and being able to play a full 90?
Yeah, that's really all it was. There was nothing more complicated than that. So, when you prepare for games in this conference, it's a unique situation. I believe we're the only conference in the country that plays back-to-back games, Saturdays.
How about that?
So, the guys know, because we prepared them for it. We said, look, we're going to prepare for PLU. We're going to spend some training sessions on PLU, give you your individual assignments, talk about the things that have to be done, but then when we turn around on Sunday to play UPS, it's literally going to be a conversation and some walkthroughs, and that's all we're going to get to do. So knowing what they missed and didn't get right against PLU on Saturday, the guys' response on Sunday was really fantastic, because they knew all they needed to clean up was how they tried to address UPS, not what we specifically had to do in order to try and create goals and win the game. We do the same things like many programs do against every opponent that we play, with minor adjustments. But you have to deal with different teams in different ways when they attack you differently, right? And so UPS plays a totally different brand of football than PLU. And so our conversations prior to the UPS game were about individual assignments and playing through the 90 minutes on those individual assignments, and we won the majority of those individual battles, which gave us the opportunity to win the game. We couldn't win the game because we weren't clean enough once we got into UPS's penalty area. I mean, I wouldn't know what the shot count was or shots on goal. Maybe you have that. I know we definitely dominated UPS in those categories. Sure. But credit to their goalkeeper. He made some pretty phenomenal saves. A few of them were point blank, maybe 4 or 5 yards, and he got his hand to a couple of shots that against other goalkeepers might have gone in. But it was a cleaner game and a better performance by us because of exactly what you identified. Individual responsibilities were taken care of, and they played for a full 90 minutes.
Yeah, it was 20-8. I do have it, of course. I do have the shot count. So a pretty significant margin there. What have you been seeing as the strength of your attack in the matches that have gone that way for you guys?
Being able to try and deal with teams in different ways. UPS has 2 big, strong center backs, much like PLU does, and you can't attack them by floating balls into the box and expecting strikers to go up in the air and win it against those guys. So you have to try and beat them in the channels and get around them on the outside and play low-driven balls in, so they have to deal with it with their feet rather than their strength, which is their head. And so we were able to do that on several occasions. We've got quick guys that can get into the box and beat their individual defenders to the spots where the ball is going to be served, and we got those chances, and we're able to do really well with that. Those were things that we didn't do well enough against PLU the day before. Even though we probably had a fair amount of shots on PLU, we really could have been better in those areas. So I think against UPS, you just have to try and eliminate what they're really good at when you're attacking and play around that. And that's what we did on Sunday, and we were able to do that with pretty good proficiency against UPS, and their center back struggled with us that way.
Yeah. Marcus Herrera-Kuhn was your goal scorer in that game, the defense coming up to make a play on the attack, and almost got a sting there in the middle of the interview. That would not have been fun. But Marcus gets that goal. But the guy who really seemed like he was putting it together on Sunday was Sid Caceres, and he leads the team in shots on goal with 11. Really a huge step to where he was last year in his sophomore campaign. What have you liked out of him through these first 5 matches or so?
Yeah, it's been interesting for us because we brought in 5 or 6 freshmen that we thought were going to immediately try and take a spot in that front role, the striker role for us. Sid and Seamus both came to us as midfielders, and they're starting for us in striker right now. But I'm glad you mentioned Sid because he was phenomenal on Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean, what'd you say, 9 shots is what he took?
On the season, I'm not sure what he had for shots in the match, but on the season, 11 shots on goal leads the team.
I'm pretty sure, because I talked with him about it, I'm pretty sure he took 9 shots on Sunday and put 5 of them on target.
Yeah, it's impressive.
He was determined. And when you are in a goal scoring position, a lot of coaches will say one of the best characteristics you can have is your assertiveness at trying to score, right? Because if you're a passive striker, you simply aren't going to have the right mentality to be able to put the ball in the back of the net with the regularity the team needs from you. Sid took ownership of it on Sunday, and although he didn't get the goal that he wanted, he was our most determined goal scorer, and it showed in the way that he played, and it showed up on the stat sheet. And his attitude is very, very reminiscent of a very dangerous striker. And so he's somebody that can take that role on and be very good in that respect, and he was showing that on Sunday. He was disappointed though. He wanted the game winner.
Yeah.
And with the performance that he put in, the only thing that was missing was the game winner. Yeah. And so he'll keep going. He's in an interesting situation because he's still trying to play himself into match sharpness. I mean, he missed the entire summer of workouts because he had a pretty severe foot injury that didn't allow him to do anything over the summer. So he's only been really active since August 17th when we came in. Yeah. And so he's got basically 4 weeks under him of trying to get back to match fitness and match sharpness. And he went a long way to getting there on Sunday, so we're excited for him. Yeah, I got to imagine the floodgates will probably open for him offensively soon. Going back the other way, it was a fantastic game for Henry Boudreau. Yeah. Of the 8 shots he faced, he saved 5 of them. 4 of them were extremely clutch in the second half, including a penalty kick save. I think I've probably seen less than 5 penalty kicks saved in Division III, and it was a really big moment. What do you think about where he's been trending over the last few matches? Seems that you're leaning towards him as your full-time goalkeeper. Yeah, and I mean, he's earned it, although I will say, we've had an interesting goalkeeper situation where I think a lot of teams are experiencing it now. I mean, goalkeepers have a high likelihood of experiencing concussions. Our other 2 guys have both had concussions this year, but Henry earned the spot. He earned the starting spot based on the last couple of weeks of training. He has been with us since his freshman year, but he hasn't been able to play because of injuries and different things that have gone on, medical concerns that he's been dealing with, and now he's finally healthy enough to get on the field. His ability is phenomenal. Where Henry was missing was just having that match sharpness and having the right mentality to go into a game, to know that when a big moment comes along, he's bigger than the moment and can manage it. And so we've done a lot of that conversation with a lot of our guys over the last couple of weeks about being bigger than the moment. And when you're a team that wins games, the big moments come to whoever the ball falls to, and you have to be able to manage that pressure and manage that moment. And so Henry did that extremely well on Sunday, and he's somebody that we know can be one of the top goalkeepers in the conference if his head is in the right place. And it was there on Sunday. He had it in the right place. He did exactly what he needed to do for the team, when you're in a game like that, goalkeepers tend to need to make 2 big saves.
Sure.
And I would say out of the 5 saves he made, 2 of them were really big.
Yeah.
And he did brilliantly with that.
Yeah, he was phenomenal, specifically in that second half. All right, coming up, you've got a 1 road, 1 home this upcoming weekend. You're going to be at George Fox on Saturday across the county, and then hosting Pacific on Sunday afternoon in the doubleheader. What's it going to take to break through and get that first conference win?
I mean, grit and determination. I mean, they're going to be 2 teams that'll work extremely hard against us. I believe that both of those programs are in a place where they're going to be just as hungry to get a win as we will. So they're going to look at this game the same way that we are, which is just an open door, an opportunity to be able to try and get those first couple conference wins. So they will be kind of knockdown, drag out affairs, which will be fun for our guys. And so again, I think it'll probably come down to who handles the pressure of trying to get that win the best. And so our guys, we just need to constantly keep our thumb on them and keep them under pressure in training to make sure that they can handle those moments when they come along in the games. And if we do better in those big pressure moments than George Fox and Pacific do, then we'll end up with the wins. Yeah, well, it seems like all 3 programs right now fighting to become the next rising program in the Northwest Conference. So once again, the Wildcats are going to be on the road on Saturday at George Fox, 2:30 kickoff there before coming back home on Sunday. They'll be playing following the conclusion of the women's match against Lewis and Clark. Men will be taking on Pacific also at 2:30. We'll, of course, have live coverage for you on the LSN. Coach, good luck this weekend. Thanks for the time. Thank you, Joe.